Yeah, g'day there. Just doing a bit of a clean up from last weekend's trip to Emerald. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to um, show you through the canopy and what I did, how I made it. There's a million canopy videos out there, so I'm going to keep it pretty brief, but yeah, take a look, see what you reckon. Just before we do, you may or may not have noticed that I don't have the side awning on anymore, and that is because I found it very awkward to get the tent on and off. It's also quite heavy, so we've now gone to one of those lightweight tarps, a 3x3, which we just fold out, tie on there, put up two poles, and it's bigger, gives us better coverage on hot days. I just think it's better all round, it's much lighter. So probably won't be putting the awning back on. We did look at the bat wings and all that sort of stuff, and they are actually really good. Again, the weight and just the bulkiness of them, I don't like it. But you know, they are pretty good. I know a few people have got them and they are actually really quick to set up, but for us, it just doesn't seem to work. Anyway, finally, let's do this canopy. So I got the cruiser parked up in the shed at the moment, so I'm a little bit cramped for space here. I can't back it out because I've got the tent drying out there, but I'll do my best to show you through it. You've probably already seen it on the back of the ute in the other videos, but I'll give you a close-up look now, and yeah, tell me what you think, or don't tell me, I don't care. So a quick correction, it was actually Sapphire we went to, but here's the canopy. Got it on some little furniture dollies to be able to move it around, it's quite handy. Went out, got myself some 9mm ply and started making up some beams for the false floor. Pretty simple stuff. I glued the beams in with Sikaflex and screwed them through the bottom, and then made up the panels for the floor. Cut some steel for the tyre box, finished off the beams and the door handle frames, as you can see here. I pre-ran some cabling through the floor, notched out the floor panels where needed, and started to lay the floor. We watched stacks of canopy making videos for ideas. I started to set out the frame for the tyre box and began to weld it up. These engine cranes come in very handy for this kind of work. And the tyre box frame started to take shape. There are lots of photos of this tyre box frame being made. Here's another one. And you guessed it, another one. So here's Amy, she's starting to put the insulation in the canopy. Then we kind of worked out the positioning for everything, made our final decisions and decided where everything had to go. Oh look, there's another picture of the frame. Oh, another picture of the frame. Amy carefully measured and cut all of the insulation for the canopy and then started on the carpets. Quite a task. One thing I will say is that this entire build, although very simple, was way underestimated in time. So then the fridge housing was installed and we painted the tyre frame. Here it is all fitted up and ready to go, and that's what it looks like from the side and the other side. So that's it all put together, and here's a picture of it on the vehicle. Amy continued on with the fit out, and we were helped by her dad Peter, and I just want to shout out to him. Thank you very much for your help. That's it all finished and packed up, ready for its first test run. Yeah, we hadn't quite finished it at this stage, which was great because during that first trip we were able to work out what worked and what didn't work. Then we made some changes and put the finishing touches on, like the black strip on the kitchen timber edges. Put the lights in, got all the switches working, put some little protectors around those switches because we found that we kept knocking them on and off. Tidied up the wiring a bit and installed this RF module for the rear lights. And this enables a bit of multi-switching, which you'll see later. This is how we get the dog box on and off now. I just made up a little hoist for the boat winch. This is what it looks like when it's being used. Amy's making some dinner and she's making a bit of lunch. Works pretty good. So my primary goal with making this canopy was to keep it as simple as possible and keep as much weight forward and close to the center over the wheels as possible. So I elected to put the spares at the front, given that they're about 30 kilos each. Thought about this for a long time, but this is what I came up with in the end. I originally had plans of having a fold down side so I could get the spare off easily. Had issues with being able to hinge it. It was getting very complicated. Of course, we chose a canopy that goes inside the tray. Ended up coming up with this. It's nearly finished enough. I want to put some gas struts on it. But basically the two spares fit in there, or if we are just doing a short trip where we need a little bit more luggage space with firewood, we can just take one spare and these just fold up. Once the struts are on there, they'll fold up the same as the other doors. Pretty basic. I just welded this up in the workshop. It's a little bit rough, but it does the job. I was going to powder coat it, but this has got a Raptor coating on it now, and to be honest, I can't see myself taking that off to powder coat it down the track, but we'll see what happens. I've still got to fix these handles on properly. They're just held on with X-head screws at the moment. And I'm pretty happy with how it's sort of finished up. Kind of finished it with this little bit of black angle. These grooves for the thingy-jiggies, which go in there to lock the doors. We've got the fridge, which you've seen open. I won't open that at the moment because I can't open this side door properly where I am in the shed. And on that side we've got a bit of a kitchen. So in here we've got our barbecue plate. It sits under here. You know, billies and camp oven and some plates and whatnot go in there. As this slides out, we've got a few kitchen-y things in there, knives, forks, general stuff. A quart pot there in case I want to make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. We've got the portable stove and a few other kitchen bits and pieces up there. Rubbish bags. Very basic stuff, but it works very well for us and it's not overcomplicated. A little bit of a bench here. We had to cut that out around the strut when we went to put it in, but that doesn't matter. It's a handy little bench and it all just folds away. Still got to make a latch for it, but for now that'll do. And if I'm perfectly honest, it'll probably end up staying like that forever. Down this side we've got two tables, two fold-up tables which slide in beside the fridge. It worked out just perfect. They are really easy to get out and put up, but we found that we generally just use this little bench here. So let's go around the other side and have a look. So this is the other side. A bit messy at the moment because we've just dragged everything out after the trip, but basically this carries all of our stuff. So we've got our swag that goes in there, which pretty much takes up the whole top, double swag. We've got our lightweight tarps, which we use now, which are great. They take up heap less room. I actually fit two 6 metre tarps in this corner here, and also a 3 metre by 3 metre tarp. They're great tarps, those hiking tarps. They dry out really quickly, they're very light to carry, easy to fold up. I can definitely recommend them over the standard tarps. So yeah, just all our stuff. We've got bits and pieces here. Bucket for the shower, toilet up there, which we use in the fold down ensuite there. So that just folds out and drops down, takes about 5 seconds to put up. We actually have the luxury of a hot water shower now. They are pretty good once you know how to use them. Amy did have a cold shower the first time we used it. But anyway, that's a whole other story. We did put this drawer in just to make it a little bit easier to access some of the things like tools and some camping stuff in there. Shovel and whatnot, little fold up shovel. So everything is quite compact and light now. Just quickly show you the other side. So that's what it looks like with the spare in. Pretty easy to get them in and out. This whole canopy is powered by the auxiliary battery, which is under the bonnet, and it just plugs straight into an Anderson plug here. And I actually have all of the lights, including the reversing lights, controlled via the control panel in here, and that's it. Nothing complicated. We've got switches for lights, we've got a centre light inside the canopy, got a light on the door, same on the other side. One is actually for the one side of the rear lights, and I've got a switch on the other side for the other side rear light, so we can have one light on at a time. Actually got those lights also controlled with a remote controlled switch. Take it out with me. If I'm outside the ute, you can switch the lights on and off remotely, which is kind of handy if you're working outside the back there or something like that. Those lights also come on with the reversing lights, so we've got some decent lighting for reversing, and that's all controlled by a little RF signal and a module mounted behind the panel here. Here we've got 12 volt power supply on both sides, and so we use this to charge the battery in the shower, and on the other side so we can do whatever those charge phones, or I've got a little 12 volt coffee maker which we use on the run, and there's the switches on the other side for the lights and whatnot. There will eventually be a switch to turn the fridge off when it's not in use, because the light, when we jar the door open so it doesn't go mouldy, the light doesn't go off. So we'll have an isolator for that, and I'm also going to put an isolator in for the inverter, which we hardly ever use, and that'll just stop the parasitic draw if we're not using that at all. The whole thing lifts off. It's all held on by 4 bolts. Comes off really easily. We put the legs in. You'll know how that works. And the whole thing lifts off, and then put the dog crate back on, and we're back to a daily driver. Anyway, that dragged on a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but you know, if it gives you some ideas, personally I like to keep it really, really simple. I hate all these fancy electronic gadgets and induction cooktops and whatever else people put in there. There's really no need for it when you go camping, but you know, each their own, and if it makes you comfortable, that's fine. I like the basic style of camping, always have done. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching.